My name is Debbie Harper, and I already said what I have with chickens, but there's two other parts that I wanted to talk about briefly that are of concern to me. One of them is being called a stakeholder. When I went to see about applying for this meeting, it said, stakeholders go in and register for the meeting here, and I thought, what the heck is a stakeholder? I find it to be a very presumptuous term that assumes that I already am on board with NAIS. I am not. I don't want it. And so I don't like this whole feeling of the USDA and the NAIS program wanting to say, you're a stakeholder in this program. Maybe they mean something else by it. I don't know, but I don't like it. The other thing has to do with the term premises. And as I said before, I haven't read all the NAIS legislation. Sometimes I go to look at legislation, and there's just so much of it. And you can just spend your life, trying to understand what legislation is. But there's one part that I saw with regard to premises that said that if you sign up for NAIS, what you're doing is you're giving permission for the USDA to be able to come on your property without having to have permission and without a search warrant, for example. And I am completely against that. I don't like what the government's been doing as far as the Fourth Amendment is concerned for the last 8 years or so. And I think that if somebody wants to come on my property, they should have to get my permission and have a search warrant to do it. As an example of this, it's not NAIS, but it's oil and gas. We got a lease at one point. It hasn't come to pass, but, those people that do the booms, to find out whether or not you've got faults in your line. One day I looked out and I saw this guy riding a four-wheeler around on the property. I mean, I said, hey, y'all are supposed to call us before I just look out and I see some stranger riding around on my property on a four-wheeler. And I chewed them out. But I could do that because it was in my contract to say, you can't have somebody on this property without notifying us first. That is why I will never sign up for something that says your premises are now not really your property. We can come on here and we can violate your rights and we can ignore the Constitution with the Fourth Amendment by being able to do this. So, that's something, if there's any feedback back for that besides saying ditch the whole program, it's amazing that Congress would even have part of that as part of the legislation. That's what I'm going to say.
Thank you, ma'am.
It's not Congress. It's the USDA. These rules are not made by Congress.
I just wanted to add something. So you need to look at adhesion contracts, which are essentially fraud. But that's how they're getting us, right? They get us to say, oh, I'm part of the program, but I don't know what I'm signing up for. I have no idea that I just signed up to let them come on the land anytime they want, right? So that's fraud, no matter how official it is. So look that up if you want more information on this.